Hi there, today I'm going to share my thoughts on why buying an in-house content management system built website is a bad idea and could prove to be very, very expensive in the long run if that's what you do. My name is Carl from Buzz Website Design, and it's our job to help you to reach more potential customers through your online marketing channels, typically through your website and its associated media. And if you like this video, please share it out far and wide. Click on the like button below. And if you really like it, then subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a little icon in the bottom right hand corner if you're watching on YouTube. And if you do subscribe on YouTube, then YouTube will let you know when we make one of these videos, which is typically once a week. So anyway, let me just explain some terms here. A content management system is a software that is used to build a website that enables you to manage the content, the pages, the blog posts, menu items and stuff like that. And most content management systems are really, really good. Things like WordPress, Drupal and Joomla are out there open source softwares, which means they are widely supported. They're built by a load of contributors rather than an in-house company. And you can always find support, and you can always access, if you've got the login details, the code for the website itself. Now, an in-house content management system is one that's been built by a particular company, typically a web design or web development company, that they use to build websites for their clients. And this is what I consider to be dangerous and potentially expensive for small businesses who buy a website that's been built with one of these in-house content management system. Now, this hasn't come about because I'm anti people writing their own software. Don't get me wrong, most content management systems, in-house or open source, are usually fairly well written. But there are inherent dangers with an in-house content management system that you as a business owner need to be aware of. First of all, in-house content management system built websites tend to be very expensive. The company that owns the software needs to recoup its investment because it's not easy, it's not cheap to manufacture a content management system. So they're usually more expensive than they would be if you'd bought an open source content managed website such as WordPress. The second thing is normally the code for this is very, very tightly controlled. Now, I understand that because the last thing you want is somebody who doesn't know much about building websites, mucking about with the code, potentially to break it, and then could be an expensive fix job. But the downside of this is because it's so tightly controlled, so you may struggle to get access to core features such as being able to manage certain elements of the content like menu items. This means that if you have to send a support request or a request to have amends done by the company that made the software, and then under normal circumstances, they charge you for it. So despite the fact that they've built a website for you with their content management system, despite the fact that you're likely paying them for hosting and management fees, they'll likely still charge you for extra work, such as adding a page and adding it to a menu. Another downside of in-house content management systems is that you can't move it. If you fall out with the company that built the website, or they decide to go off and do something different, very, very common, then you could end up not being able to manage and use your website properly. Or if you do fall out with them, they won't let you take the software with them and put it on someone else's servers, which means that they will either charge you a hefty fee for doing it if they allow you to do it, or you'll have to have your website rebuilt anyway. And finally, if you do manage to get your website and its content management system that's been built into in-house onto a different server with a different support company, because it's been uniquely built by the company that made it, finding support is going to be very difficult and often can be very, very expensive. Now, this hasn't come about just because I don't like content management systems built by companies, but I do find that what tends to happen is that they are very, very restrictive with what you can and can't do with your website. We've had numerous examples over the years of companies that have gone to a web development agency, had their website built in this funky content management system, and then end up over a period of years paying a lot more than they had to have it built in the first place, just in support, just in amends, just keeping it up to date, etc. And to be honest, I find that to be a very underhanded tactic by web developers, by locking your clients in and then making them pay through the nose every single time that they want to do anything. Personally, and it's just my opinion, I find that to be unethical. So, what should you do? Well, first of all, if you're going to have a website built, make sure that the company that makes it is using an open source software. We had a client, she's closed her business down since, who had her website built with one of these companies who made their own content management system. And when she said, well, I need to write a blog, they hadn't actually written a blog function into the software, so they charged her for writing the blog function of the software and then charged her for being able to use it. To me, that was just outrageous. How can you create a content management system without a blogging function? But that's how it was. And unfortunately, to add the blog function cost her nearly as much as it did to have the website built in the first place. So, of course, she was very, very unimpressed. But I would say always make sure that your website is built with an open source content management system. The most popular is WordPress. Nearly all the websites that we build are built with WordPress. There are others out there like Joomla, Modex, Drupal, etc. Those are all tend to be a lot more technical. Good softwares, no doubt, but a lot more technical from an end user point of view. But WordPress, as we see it, is the way to go. If you need e-commerce, there are other functions available as well, depending on what you need. But make sure your software is open source. Also, make sure that if you need to make amends to your website, you're given the access to be able to do it. We've just literally, last week, had to threaten to sue, client had to threaten to sue a website development company because he didn't have access to amending content on a content management system. That's just outrageous. You've got a content management system, give your clients the ability to update their content. That's what it's there for. So also, make sure that you have access to the website and being able to manage all elements of the content. Also, I would say that when you're having a website built, find out what it would take to move your website to a different server should you and your web designer fall out. Believe it or not, we get clients coming to us where their web designer has either disappeared or they've changed something or they just won't let them do stuff, etc. And so we get them to come to us where we allow our content access to everything they need. And if they want to move their website, if you want to move your website, we'll even help you do it. We don't make no qualms about it. We're trying to make life easy for you, the customers. But unfortunately, not all web designers and web development companies will do that. So make sure everything is understood. Make sure that you've got no content management system that's written in-house. Make sure it's open source so you and others, if necessary, can get support. Make sure you can move it if you need to. Make sure you've got access to every element of the content. So if you want to add a page and put it into the menu, you can do that without having to pay. Now, like I said, we have loads of examples of this. We had a client a few years ago who were being charged nearly £1,000 a month for use of this in-house content management system. That's like a salary for some people. But they didn't know any better. They went to an agency because they thought that was the better option. I'm not saying all agencies are bad. This was recommended to them by somebody who had a big business, spent tons of money on his website. But a little startup should not be paying £1,000 a month. And they couldn't do anything. Every time they wanted something different, they ended up having to pay extra. Outrageous. So please, do yourself a favour. Use open source software. Make sure everything you need is given to you by your web designer. But above all, if you've got questions, please come and talk to us. It's important to get impartial advice when you can, before you go shelling out loads of money on a website. But anyway, I hope that's really been useful. Remember, like it, share it, please subscribe. It'd be great to hear from you. And if you have questions or comments, write them in the comment section below. We always respond to comments and questions on our videos. But that's enough from me. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.